Hi guys,
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
how are you doing?
Fine, thanks.
Okay, let's just update the number of people and welcome them. Oh, wonderful. We've got so many people already here.
Good.
Welcome and namaste to Jigarji, Shraddhaji, Kripa, Sri Kumarji, Nikhil, Tawfiq, Taran, Rais, Shiva Prakash. Welcome, friends. And there are many, many more. Namaste to
And Merry Christmas in advance.
and Merry Christmas in advance. So I've got three of my friends here, two of my friends here, Shantanu and Gaurav, who are going to be the co-presenters. Just type in the chat box if you all can hear me properly. Arunji, welcome. Um, so, friends, my name is Mohit. Here is Shantanu with ruffled hair, and there is this man uh, with black beard. His name is Gaurav Nalkur, and today we're going to be talking about birds and butterflies. Okay, wonderful. Hello, Gran. Oh, good to see you, my friend. How are you doing? I'm sure it's too cold out there. And we've got people from Mexico. Oh, wonderful. Lily is from Mexico. And there are Priya. Priya is the is leading the team behind the scene to set this all up. So welcome, Priya. Yes, it's cold in Sweden. Let me just get started now immediately. Let's not waste any more time because we've got now people here. And I'll quickly introduce myself before we get started. A lot of you already know me, and a lot of people are here for the first time. And I'm so glad to see Ferozan after a long time. Welcome, Ferozan. So, friends, I'm Mohit Aggarwal. I'm an experiential ecotourism specialist with a deep love for nature. I help people travel to some wonderful places in Asia. I'm on the board of Asian Ecotourism Network, and I've been trained and certified by GSTC in sustainable tourism. I'm the founder of Asian Adventures, a 28-year-old travel outfit. It's the largest birding company in India. I'm also the founder of Natty Netter, a value email marketing company that's working towards strengthening communication for wildlife outfits. These companies are on a large mission to help Asian elephants with their corridors, free the Himalayas of plastic waste, also help small wildlife NGOs and conserve the ancient Himalayan shrines. So this is a bit about me. I'll also post the URL about me in the chat box, which you can click later when you have time. And Gaurav has left the room. So over to Shantanu. Shantanu, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, hi. I'm Shantanu. I am a naturalist. I like to call myself as a nature enthusiast. What I am passionate about is conservation of nature, multi-species, though I have a weakness for butterflies because that was probably the first insect or the first thing in nature that I saw as a kid, and that got me drawn into nature. Whenever I talk to people, what they tell me is that about butterflies, that remember the butterflies that you used to hold when you were kids and the powdered thing came on our fingers. Where are they now? To explain to them where are they now and why are they not wherever they are, wherever we humans are, that is a very interesting thing that opens up the eyes for not many people. They see conservation in a new light, and then also they get to know what efforts they can do to make sure that everything, the birds, butterflies, are back to the same kind of space that it was before in their childhood, so they kind of relive their childhood. So that is what I do. I get children out of the adults. I get that out of them.
That's so beautiful. Thank you, Shantanu. Over to Gaurav.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to check, am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
you
you
are.
are.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. My name is Gaurav Nalkur. I am an avid bird watcher. I've had a deep love of nature since I was a child, and I'm a strong believer in using wildlife tourism as a tool to raise awareness and aid conservation. Professionally, I'm training to be an ecotourism specialist, especially to work with community tourism stakeholders. And educationally, I'm qualified as a wildlife biologist. I'm especially interested in bird behavior. I've worked on urban bird diversity, giant squirrels in the Western Ghats, and bird niches in the Himalayas. For the last 4 years, I've been lucky to work with Asian Adventures and Mohit, both of whom share my vision of using wildlife tourism as a means of helping preserve the natural world. And lately, I've been enough to help run a program called Earthworks with the help of Mohit and Shantanu, which basically aims at changing people's outlook towards the natural world and ecosystem, to put it in a nutshell.
Yes, Earthworks is such a powerful program that we've just launched. We launched that in November, and we've done 6 so far, and we've had many people interested in it. But the focus of Earthworks is largely to empower the guides in rural areas, in areas which are, uh, you know, which are very, very diverse in nature and have a lot of forests, but are less known. And also those guides who are who have direct connect with mother nature and who know the species, and it also helps people find new avenues for nature watch, for photography, and to hone their skills in natural history as they go along. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Let me get started with the slideshow straight away so that we can do the job. What I'm doing is I'm getting Gaurav to get started with the birds first, and then Shantanu will talk about um, butterflies. Yeah. So here you go, Gaurav. Over to you. Are you
Hi,
there?
good evening, everyone, again. Yeah. So just a quick runoff when we talk about endemic birds and butterflies. For those of you who don't know what endemism or an endemic species is, so an endemic species is one that is found in a specific geographic location. So this could be a mountain range, it could be a region, it could be an island, it could even be a country or a continent. So the range itself is not defined. So, I mean, we have birds that are endemic to India, we have birds that are endemic to the Indian subcontinent. And in this case, we'll be looking at birds and butterflies that are endemic to the Western Ghats in particular. And we'll also be paying slightly special attention to the Dakshin Kannada district of Karnataka. So the Western Ghats is an ancient mountain range. They actually predate the Himalayas by millions of years. And one of the special things is there's a wide range of habitats. So from the Sholas or Sky Islands, which would be the equivalent of alpine meadows, to evergreen forests, to grassland, wetlands, and near the coast, even coastal habitats. The climate in the Western Ghats, and especially the southern Western Ghats, especially in Dakshin Kannada, is characterized by a very humid climate for most of the year, especially during the monsoon months. So during June to September, the monsoon months, they encounter strong winds, they have high humidities, very heavy rain, and there's a very slight fall in temperature. And this climate is actually very good for the for providing a rich ecosystem. There's a lot of fauna, everything from insects up to mammals that are endemic to the Western Ghats that are found in this region. uh, so an equal distribution of the population between rural and urban areas. This means that there's a lot of cultivated land and wild areas as well. It's not all developed as urban areas, and economically, farming and with of food crops and cash crops is still a major source of revenue for most of the people living here. Much of the wilderness here is evergreen forest, and it provides a thick canopy for a lot of species to find a place to find a place to stay year round. So WWF has defined the Western Ghats as a place that performs important hydrological and watershed functions. Approximately
Gaurav,
sorry.
Gaurav, you need to also point out the bird which is there in the picture.
Yeah. So the bird that is in the photo is a flame-throated bulbul, one of the endemics of the Western Ghats. In fact, it's a state bird of Goa as well. So the Western Ghats are a really important feature for Indian climate. In fact, our Indian monsoon is shaped due to the position of the Himalayas and Western Ghats together. Uh, and the soil and water of this region sustains the livelihoods of millions of people. Like we just previously saw, a lot of people are still dependent on agriculture. So I'll just read out a number of globally threatened flora and fauna that are found here. So plants, 229 species; mammals, 31 species; 15 species of birds; 43 species of amphibians; 5 species of reptiles; and 1 species of fish. So this is an indicative figure. It depends on what taxonomy you're going by, what taxonomical authority you're following, and as we study the region more, these numbers will keep changing. So one of the most attractive birds that we find in the Western Ghats is the Malabar trogon. The one in the photo is a male. The Malabar trogon is a species that's normally found in lush. Sorry, it's found in very thick forest, especially what do you call it? Especially higher up in the canopy, and it's an insectivorous bird. Got a very characteristic call, and its call is doesn't really travel a long distance. So normally, if you can hear the bird, that means it's somewhere close by. Another beautiful bird, not exactly endemic but indigenous to the Western Ghats. That means that much of the population is found here. Is the Malabar pied hornbill. So, as many of you probably know, hornbills are very important for wild ecosystems due to their mainly fruit diet. They are great dispersers of seeds, especially for the fig species that come in the ficus genus. They are great dispersers of these seeds, and the ficus trees themselves make great habitats for a lot of fauna, from reptiles and insects to birds themselves. So hornbills as a group are extremely important for the wilderness. Similarly, we also have the Malabar grey hornbill. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the Indian grey hornbill, which is a much more common bird in the subcontinent. Uh, the key defining factor that would tell this apart from the Indian grey would be the color of the beak, which is a bright orange. So, like most hornbills, this is mainly a fruit-eating bird. Although they do eat reptiles, they eat amphibians, they eat smaller birds as well. And like the Malabar pied, they are great dispersers of seeds and important for the ecosystem. The Malabar whistling thrush is one of my favorite birds in this region. It's got a beautiful call, haunting call that you can hear all through the forest, especially during the monsoons. And it is a very beautiful bird to look at. Despite its name, it actually belongs to the flycatcher family. But this is a bird that is mostly terrestrial. That is, you'll mostly find it on the ground, and they normally forage among leaf litter for insects that they will eat. Little Spiderhunter is also a very important bird. These are mostly nectarivorous. That means they mostly drink nectar, although they do eat small insects and especially spiders, as the name suggests. So normally, what they will do is they will eat spiders and then they will use the webs to make their nests. So hence the name Spider Hunter. And this bird actually belongs to the sunbird family, but unlike most of the members of that family, it's not a very brightly colored bird, and the beak is not extremely curved, but it does have the long beak that is typical. The Eurasian curlew is also a very important migrant. This is uh, sorry. The Eurasian curlews are migrants that we get here along the coasts of the Western Ghats. They normally use their long beaks to check in soil for invertebrates like mud crabs or small shrimp, etc. Another commonly seen another commonly seen migrant wader is the Pacific golden plover. Now, a very important fact is even with the curlew being a wader like the plover, if you see the previous slide, the beak is much longer on the curlew, and much shorter in the plover. So unlike sandpipers and curlews, the plover family actually will pick up invertebrates from the surface of the soil. And this actually reduces competition between these two waders. Greater sand plover is another type of coastal plover seen. These are found mainly along the coast itself, although the curlews and Pacific golden plover are also found inland sometimes. And from birds, I think we'll move on to the other winged wonders that we have in the Western Ghats. That's butterflies. I'll request Shantanu to take butterflies for us. Thanks.
So, Shantanu, you could start with butterflies, and let me quickly tell people about my fascination for monarch butterflies, which are mainly found in North and South America. Um, uh, it's amazing to see that this particular migration route is from northern US to southern Canada down to Mexico. And this is multi-generational migration, meaning that several generations are born and die along this route. Monarch butterflies have severely declined due to use of herbicides by farmers. And its bright colors are there to warn predators. So there's another one called viceroy butterfly, which is not poisonous, closely resembles a monarch to trick and scare away potential predators. There are many such facts that Shantanu will tell you, and he'll take you through the journey of Dakshin Kannada butterflies as we go along. And you will have you'll be absolutely wonderstruck when you hear him speak about various species. So over to you, Shantanu. Go right ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Gaurav, for this wonderful thing about birds, and Mohit for the introduction. Before diving into butterflies, I would like to talk a little bit more about Western Ghats and what fascinates me about Western Ghats. Small data point: 50% of amphibians in India are endemic to Western Ghats. The Western Ghats basically has 6% of the land mass in India, but 30% of flora and fauna. So, do you understand the intensity of ecosystem in Western Ghats? Guess why? How did Western Ghats form? It formed when this Gondwana land separated, and it became the southern part of India. So Western Ghats are more, they separated probably from Madagascar. So the birds, the animals, the flora, the fauna, the intensity of that, plus the amount of monsoons, it's one of the most most important non-equatorial tropical evergreen forest. Is that important? That is the best example of monsoon system in the planet Earth. It's older than the Himalayas, and it's so important that the World Heritage Convention of UNESCO has declared this as a hotspot. And so, birds, butterflies, plants are unique. They're really unique. Moving on to butterflies, the most fascinating part of a butterfly is its life cycle. Normally, when we talk about butterflies, we talk about an adult butterfly. It's a flying insect with scales in its wings. But butterflies, the life cycle is a complete metamorphosis life cycle. From the egg, we find a larva, which is a caterpillar, that changes into a pupa, and the pupa changes into an adult. So these photographs out here show that complete metamorphosis process, and this is undergone by not almost, by all butterflies. So some of the butterflies that are found in the Western Ghats and not in very many other places. Malabar raven. Raven because it resembles a raven by its coloration, and it's quite a medium-sized butterfly. It's not a very small butterfly, but it will be somewhat a half your palm. Southern birdwing, arguably one of the largest butterflies in India. Birdwing, because if you see it against the sky, it will resemble a small bird by only by its wingspan. And when it flies by you, you can actually hear its wings beating. It's like that big. I even the pupa of Malabar of a southern birdwing would be as big as your index finger, if not your middle finger. Is that big? Malabar banded peacock, Dakshin Kannada's ubiquitous butterfly, which is mainly restricted to the region. Look at the colors, such beautiful colors. No wonder it's called a peacock. It's from the swallowtail family, a big butterfly frolicking away in the sunshine, in the sunlight among flowers. This is one of the most beautiful sights that you could see in Dakshin Kannada and in the Western Ghats. Water snow flat. It's a flat butterfly. Flat as in it normally perches when it basks. It stays with a flattened wing. And I like the color contrast of this butterfly. This photograph was taken in Dakshin Kannada itself in a place called Belvai. The Tamil Catseye. Uh, the eye-like spots out there, Ocelli gives the name of Catseye. Now, these spots sometimes are normally used to frighten away the predators. Seeing so many eyes, the predators are confused. They either confuse and run away or attack the eyes. The eyes being on the extreme end of the wings. Even if a predator bites off that wing, the butterfly still survives. Okay, this is a great orange tip. Another of the big butterflies out there. It is found almost in all places in Western India. A blue Mormon, the state butterfly of Maharashtra, a beautiful looking butterfly.
I suggest you go a little slow with the slides because let people enjoy the butterfly and let them. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
great orange tip is my favorite, and you move very fast. So I think it's important for people to see its pattern, its coloration, the way it's sitting on the flower, and and you could even yeah. So I'm saying spend a minute or two with the butterfly because see those people who are not going to be out in the field, this is a golden opportunity for them, and many people are seasoned butterfly watchers and they may want to rush, but there are also people here who are here for the first time or they want to know about butterflies because they're just so pretty. But the thing is that it also has another domain to it where the butterflies can look very drab and very faint in their colorations, and you could talk about that as well. Thank you, Shantanu. Go on with your
Thank you,
things.
thank you. Thank you, Mohit. Actually, you brought out a very good point. Do you see this great orange strip butterfly in front of you? So it has got white, it has got orange, stark in colors, right? Totally in contrast. But when it folds its wings and sits, the only color that is seen is the color that you see below in the wings that are below the lower wings. It just looks like a dried leaf. You cannot even spot this butterfly when it is like a feet away from you. So that is the power of camouflage. And why is that required? Because suppose a predator approaches a butterfly, all of a sudden it flashes those, orange and white colors. The predator is dazzled for some time. The butterfly gets time to fly off. So this was the blue mormon that we were talking about. The beautiful butterfly with lovely shades of blue, white, and black, and the state butterfly of Maharashtra. Uh, so mormons as a group normally they have the host plants of are like lemons and oranges, citrus plants. So when blue mormon was under consideration for the state butterfly of Maharashtra, the orange farmers from Nagpur region, which is known for its orange cultivation, protested and said that we cannot use these pesticides if this is a state butterfly. So there was a long debate on And then it was found that not very many Mormons are using oranges that are grown as crops. So then they were shot down. The debate was shot down, and this was adopted as a state butterfly of Maharashtra. Lovely butterfly, Paris peacock. We had seen Malabar banded peacock, and this is a Paris peacock. Same family, slight difference in colors, iridescent wings. The color from the butterfly wings come from its scales. So there are basically two types of scales. One is a colorful scale, which is like a blue scale or something, and another is a scale that reflects the colors. So the colors would look different at different angles of light. This is a grass yellow found all over India in most of the places. But like all butterflies, the presence of grass yellow lets you know that this ecosystem is robust, going strong. There are enough of host plants and nectaring plants. But that is one major feature, one benefit of having butterflies is that it is an indicator of the viability of the ecosystem. If any of you have any questions or some points, kindly put it in the chat. We'll take it up.
Do you want to take up the question as we go along, or you want to do it in the end?
Uh, if the questions are such that it pertains to the same butterfly or similar, we can take it right now also.
Yeah. So Jigar said that they also migrate. He's talking about blue Mormon. Whether they migrate a lot. He's curious to know.
The blue Mormons do not migrate a lot. They are not very much known to migrate a lot. The butterflies that are known to migrate are normally crows that migrate a lot out here.
Okay, great. Thanks. Go on, please.
This is a common gull butterfly, which looks like a pioneer, but it's a different butterfly from the same family. A Redspot Duke. Duke as a name of a species, and red spots. Those spots you see on the wings. That is why it's called Redspot Duke. A very beautiful butterfly. So these are only some of the butterflies that are seen in Dakshina Kannada region or in the Western Ghats. There are many more butterflies, and watching those butterflies is a beautiful thing. You get to see all parts of the life cycle. You see butterfly eggs, butterfly larva, pupa, and adults, and the butterfly behavior is beautiful. And as pointed out, since there's so much of rain, there's so much of greenery, so there's no lack of either larval plants, there's host plants, or nectaring plants. So both birds and butterflies in Dakshin Kannada region are beautiful to watch. Dakshin Kannada region, if you're from India and you have heard of a movie called Kantara, that was based in Tulunadu, the Dakshin Kannada region. So all the religion, I mean the things that were shown there in that movie, things like Bhutakala, the dances, the worship, the gods, demigods, they actually exist. The buffalo race actually happens even now. And believe you me, those buffaloes are kept better than children of the house. The way they are kept, the way every day somebody massages them, they are kept as children of the house.
So, friend, we are also bringing in some of the cultural angles of the area, and but we're also taking questions in the middle. So, Nikhil has a question to ask you, Shantanu. The grass yellow as indicator of robust ecosystem. You said, are not other butterflies also indicators as migratory grass yellow? How do they indicate health?
Okay. Grass yellow is indicator of a local ecosystem because grass yellow is found all over India. Other butterflies might be specific to specific region. So when I am talking to a child and asking to look out for butterflies, he's going to ask me whether I'm going to look out for a yellow butterfly, a big black butterfly, or a white butterfly, or that kind. So when he's talking about a yellow butterfly, it's normally grass yellow. So when I'm asking him, has the numbers gone up or gone down? He says this year there's less of yellow butterflies. So I know he's talking about grass yellows. The reason why the numbers go down of grass yellows is because of cultivation. Due to cultivation, the grasses are cut off. Grass yellow is host plant is grass, wild grass. So you get to know that there is an encroachment happening some way or the other, and they're going down. However, all butterflies are indicators of a robust ecosystem, their presence or absence. Some butterflies take it well, some butterflies do not. If the grasses are cut off, you will definitely see a alarming decrease in the number of grass yellows.
Excellent.
I,
There is a question from Stephen Green.
yeah.
Are there any specific major threats to the abundance and diversity of butterflies in the Western Ghats that differ from those facing other taxa?
No, no, because the same threats that are there for all taxa, rapid urbanization, replanting of non-native plants and gardens, that's a big threat that's happening here because people are having lawns now in their farmhouses. Lawns are non-conducive to butterflies at least because we have no land and there are no wild areas. In India, the concept was that of a vatika, which was an extension of the forest into the home, which was a wild area with fruit trees, flowering plants, which was conducive for the butterflies. Now, more and more, these lawnmowers are coming in, the golf courses are coming in, and stuff like that, and even resorts. They are hindering the butterflies there. But no, there is no specifically threatening to the butterfly taxa. I do not think so.
So I want to add here that there was no concept of lawns earlier in India, especially if you go into our scriptures. It clearly states that there is no need for clearing up for lawns, and because the biodiversity that you get from the foliage is far more important. Lawns started to happen with the Mughals coming in, and you have great examples of lawns in Kashmir, and then they were adopted by the British as we went along, and then the lawn culture came in. So now it's everywhere. It's lawn culture. So the whole idea now, what conservationists are doing is that they're telling clubs and societies and parks and a whole lot of these places which want to develop lawns that you keep 5 to 7% to 10% of your wild areas in the corners which form the refuge for snakes and butterflies and a whole lot of small insects that will host the biodiversity that is much needed for your area. So that's one thing that's happened. And yeah, over to you. Usha ji is asking, who are the natural predators of these butterflies?
Natural predators of butterflies. I have seen butterflies being predated by spiders, birds, geckos, monkeys,
And also, Divya is saying mantids.
mantids, yes,
Okay.
mantids, yes, and at all stages, eggs, yes, caterpillar, yes, pupa, yes, adult, of course, yes.
Wonderful.
So there are different ways butterflies, they try to avoid predation. They have also got their own armory that they bring in. Eggs are normally placed in places which are normally not seen, like they're hidden under the leaf, inside the bark, in between fresh leaves. Then caterpillars, they some of the caterpillar merge with the leaf so beautifully. If you look up barren caterpillar, they merge with the midriff of the leaf so beautifully you cannot even see it. Even if you're actually looking at it, you can't even make out unless there's some movement. Then, as a pupa, okay, caterpillars. Some caterpillars have a stark coloration. That is because they are poisonous. As a pupa, once again, it's a hard shell. So normally the predators do not understand that to be an edible stuff. And adult butterflies have so many different ways to avoid being predated. Just slightly off the topic, this summer summer in India is a lovely time in the Western Ghats to look at butterflies puddling. Puddling is an amalgamation of a large number of butterflies, mostly male, who are at the ground level, taking in sodium from the ground and adding it on to their bodies, because normally as a caterpillar they do not really get the amount of sodium that they need. So that sodium is also passed on to the female as a nuptial pack, which helps in the egg development. So there are thousands of butterflies that congregate in one spot. It's a beautiful sight to observe.
Absolutely, it's a jaw-dropping sight. We've seen these congregations, and it is absolute madness. And the thing is that you may want to go with a camera, but that it's safe to just stand at a distance and admire them than to be worried about taking photos as you go along. So that's happened to me. I'm sure photographers would want to take photos, but there've been times when I've just dropped my camera and I wasn't bothered to take photos at all because I don't want to lose the sight of that congregation. So Arun is saying we do have a lawn, or most appropriate to say grass plot. All grass verges are left with wild areas not mowed, allowing grass to grow and flowers. Oh, wonderful, fantastic. So it's Nonita is asking, how do you differentiate between butterflies and moths?
A very typical kind of a question. Everybody asks that. Even I am trying to differentiate with butterflies and moths. I am not being able to. The reason is, what I say is, the butterflies are day flying moths. Moths as a group, they evolved much before butterflies, because flowering plants and nectars were basically available in the night. Some flowers decided to flower during the day. And so a group of moths, they shifted over to being diurnal, changed colors based on their requirement, and took a shape of a butterfly. There are some butterflies, I'll tell you. Esperidae, the skippers as a group, was still very recently classified under moths, but they have been shifted over to butterflies. Is that how overlapping the butterflies and moths are? There are some typical indicators, like the shape of the antenna, the hooking of the rear wing and the forewing, and whether they're nocturnal or diurnal, how they sit with their wings open or closed. But believe you me, every of these pointers have got some people who are exceptions. So we will not normally, whatever we see in the evening or post evening are moths. The number of moths, your day flying moths, are much less. Let's leave it at that for the time.
Okay, great. So, if you want to know more about these things, we have a tour running with Shantanu in January, and I'm going to give you the link here. I think it's already here, and you can click the tour details, and you can get more information from him, or you can write to us, and we'd be happy to give you information. So it's a 3-day tour that you can take with Shantanu, starting on the 26th and finishing on the 29th, and it's not too expensive. Anyway, so that was a bit of my selling part, which I've done now. And now back to the question. Soumya is asking, when trying to ID a butterfly, I felt it difficult many times, for instance, like a wanderer blue tiger or grass blue, etc. Plus, there's different underwing and forewing patterns. So, what do you suggest for finding the idea of a butterfly on the field?
Okay, one, do not ever go in for 100% field ID. What you need to do is either take a photograph of the butterfly,
Okay, so it looks like Shantanu, are you there or you gone?
I'm back.
Okay, great, fantastic.
Yeah. Am I audible, visible?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So what I was saying is that for butterfly ID, first, Find out the butterfly. Second, without even IDing it, either take a very good photograph, or if you're not a good photographer, note down the points. It was small butterfly, black and red and white, fluttering about so and so plant, sitting, and I saw the body was this color. Note all these down. So either from your notes, field notes, or from a photograph, take up a good field book. From that field book, you try identifying. Do not, and I repeat, do not go for the easy way of asking an expert what is this and then finish off with it. Try identifying by yourself to the level that is possible for you, even as a beginner. Once you do that, and then take some help to go down to the species or subspecies level, that is one butterfly, the idea of which you'll never forget ever. So that is the right approach to doing a field ID of butterflies. I'm sure that happens for the birds also.
I think Stephen is putting in some very good information also here, and so is Divya. So, friends, when you get your replay link tomorrow, if you don't get this information on chat, ask me, and I'm happy to copy it all down for you to go through, and you can keep this as a record as well. And since the system is such that I need to pre-invite Divya and Stephen, I should have for them to speak about it, but this is fantastic anyway. So let me just see. Divya has talked about poison and venom difference and
what is the difference between poison and venom? Good question. As I said, poisonous, you eat a poisonous thing, you are dead. A venomous thing eats you, you are dead.
Yeah.
So that is how I remember stuff.
So Saif Ali Khan is asking, I was wondering that butterflies like Malabar peacock and Paris peacock are so beautiful. I was wondering that butterflies like Nawab and Raja should also be even more beautiful. Was wondering why they are dull looking and not so beautiful, or is it just play of words?
There are different. There are 2 or 3 reasons why butterfly colors come into being. One is camouflage colors, one is flash colors, and one is evolution. So sometimes it is just evolution that gives the colors. I find Nawabs and Rajas also to be beautiful as far colors are concerned. I do not really find any butterfly which is not beautiful. What probably he is saying is why some butterflies have subdued colors, while some butterflies have flashy colors. So mostly colors are also there to get the females. So some females are happy with the bling and some are happy with character. So maybe that's how it works.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think we've done about 40 minutes here. And friends, thank you for joining us. If you've got more questions, reach out to us and we'd be happy to reply to you. And if you wish to deepen your knowledge about butterflies or your experiences, we've got this lovely tour coming up to Samilin Chetty's farm, and we're also going to be covering some birding habitats like Sashitulu Beach along Mangalore coast. And it's a 3-day tour, 3-night, 4-day tour, which Shantanu will be leading, and you'll be able to understand in depth about butterflies and his butterfly farm. Yeah, go right ahead and talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would also like to add that barring the birds, butterflies, this trip will also deal with humans. In a way that we are going to stay in a small town, we are going to visit villages, people from other part of the country especially can find out what Dakshin Kannada cuisine is all about. They can find out, how people are, what kind of villages are there. Mostly paddy cultivation happens there. So, and the age-old practices keep on happening there. So that is something to note how culture is evolving. So it's not only about king cobras and Malabar trogons and Ceylon frogmouths. It's also about the humans there. Those humans, believe you me, are there from ages. Their culture is there from ages. They are Daiva, that is their god, demigod, sub-god, the worship, the village gods. They are there for ages. The functions that they have, the dance forms that they have, Bhutakala and similar. If you get a chance to see it, do not miss it. You'll be zapped. So this will all be a part of this tour. The value of the temples out there is not only for religious purposes, it's also for social purposes. The first card for a marriage, the first invitation is given to the local village Daiva. Even if you're staying in a city, maybe in Mumbai, maybe in Delhi, and you're from a village in Dakshin Kannada, when a marriage is fixed, you'll come down all the way to the village to give the first card to the Daiva or to the god out there. So that is the culture I'm talking about.
Yeah, so it's an all-inclusive tour. While the focus is butterflies and the bird habitats, but you'll also have the great gastronomy tour, and you'll have cultural insights, and you carry your cameras along, and you photograph natural history along with people, and this will be a small fun tour sort of a thing. So join in if you like, or send us an email, and we'd be happy to reply and sign you in, if you like. But I hope you enjoyed this webinar. The focus of this webinar was to do with conservation of butterflies. If you want to have more butterflies in your garden or your backyard, write to us, and I'm going to ask Shantanu to draw up a list of host plants and the methodology to attract butterflies in your garden. He's really been helpful in many ways to Asian adventures. So he's part of the team now. He's sort of helping us out with coming new programs, bringing new opportunities to our audience, and deepening natural history as we go along. So I want Gaurav to speak a few words, and then to Shantanu as well. Yeah. Go ahead. Shantanu, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on that this is the summertime. Dakshin Kannada, Western Ghats is good for butterflies. But if you come in the monsoons, the amount of diversity you get of herbs, that is frogs, toads, snakes, that will actually blow your mind. I have been there, and I could not take my camera out. I was so zapped. So I'm sure Mohit would inform you when there is a tour, for herping tour that's in the monsoons. Please mark your calendars right now. Join us for at least one herping tour if you want a real change. I mean, something which is unique.
Wonderful.
Gaurav.
Wonderful.
Thanks. So as Shantanu says, we need to kind of look beyond just birds and mammals and things as interesting as butterflies or herbs, for example. Or even if you are going bird watching, just look beyond listing species. And so I was talking earlier about earthworks, and this is the main focus about this, kind of change everyone's outlook, where bird watching is more about the ecosystem and less about actually ticking bird species off a list. And the best part I think about earthwalks is they're not long tours that you have to commit 3-4 days to. They're 1-day tours. Most of them are just a single morning as well, and they're all in or around your home cities, Delhi, Pune, Mumbai, all these places, and they're very easy to attend. And I really urge anyone, if you are in a place where there's an earthwalk happening near you, please do join us. And you can get in touch with us to know how you can find out more about these walks going on.
And we have a super duper naturalist right now with us, Divya Shri, who's based in Coorg. So if you want to do earthwalks in Coorg and you're going there for something else, just spend a morning with her, and she'd be happy to take you around. I'm telling you, this is the best quote I've seen in a long time. Arunji is writing, the eye is the best camera and the brain is the best hard drive. I love it. Thank you for writing that down. So friends, fantastic. And thank you for being here. Shabak Khair. Good night. Have a great time. and enjoy this life of natural history, go deeper into it, and join this crusade for conservation. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you,
Shantanu.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mohit.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.